Hello everyone and welcome to my vlog. This is Oliver Teacher with a new set of words, phrases, expressions, collocations, idioms, proverbs, and many other vocabulary. I hope you can use my posts in your daily conversations and exams. And without further ado, here are this week's vocabulary. Alright everybody, let's get started with Monday. Monday is our alternative vocabulary day, and for this Monday I have chosen two vocabulary. The first one is pass away, and we want to use it instead of die. And the second one is flawless, and we want to use this instead of perfect. Okay, let's start with the first one. So don't say die, say pass away. Why? Because you will sound like a polite and caring person. Let's get to the examples. First one. Wilson's grandmother passed away yesterday. That's why he's not working today and is attending her funeral. Second example. It took her a fortnight to recover from the shock of her mother passing away. All right, let's explain. I have crossed out the word died and replaced it with the words passed away in the first one. And in the second one, I have crossed out the word dying and replaced it with the words passing away. But there are two other replacements as well. The first one is so. I have crossed it out and I have replaced it with that's why. Most of my students use the word so very often, and I want them and I want you to replace the word so with that's why. And the second one is a bit interesting. I crossed out the word 2 weeks. 2 weeks is equal to 14 days or 14 nights if you want to say. And the British enjoy the expression a fortnight. They like to use the word fortnight instead of 2 weeks. So these are the crossed out words. Moving on to the second alternative vocabulary for Monday. Don't say perfect, say flawless. You will sound like a sports commentator. Careful. Gave means awarded, and sold for means fetch in the context, but not in every situation. So let's take a look at the examples. After her flawless gymnastics performance, the judges awarded her a full score of 10. Second example. In the auction, the flawless diamond fetched an astonishing price of 10 million US dollars. Of course, the words attend a funeral have the meaning of to join the last ceremony that will be given to this person who has passed away. And there is another expression here, recover from the shock. Recover is to become better again after the shock. Okay, a little bit of extra explanation. Judges are the people who will give the score and they will look at the performance of the athlete. Auction is when somebody wants to sell an item and this item will go to the person who will give the highest price. A good example would be eBay. eBay is in fact an auction website. So many people can join it and they can increase the price, and whoever gives the highest amount will get the item. Astonishing, very surprising, I would say. All right, it's time for our next day. Next day is Tuesday, and Tuesday is our difficult vocabulary day, and I have chosen two words. One of them is not that difficult, discipline, and the second one is a bit more difficult, appease. Discipline. Discipline here is a noun, meaning education and punishment that makes people follow rules. And we have a quick tip. Discipline is often used with the words impose or maintain. And sometimes to discipline as a verb also means to punish somebody. Let's take a look at the examples. First one. Old-fashioned parents believe in hitting children to impose discipline. Second example. Being a good teacher means maintaining discipline in class. All right. And I don't think we agree on hitting children. It is not a very good idea, although some people think that this would be a good way to discipline their children. Okay, and our second difficult vocabulary of Tuesday is appease. It is a verb. Let's take a look at the meaning. To make someone less angry or to calm him or her down by giving them something that they want. Taking a look at the examples. When Jerry cries, his mother gives him chocolate to appease him. And our second example, although she didn't want to, she stayed quiet to appease her furious boss. As for the explanation, chocolate is a very good way to appease a person, to make a person calm down, less angry. And in the second example, I have used the word appease her boss or furious boss. Furious is like angry is like very, very angry. So what do you do with an angry boss? You just stay quiet to appease your boss. And we have arrived to the middle of the week. It's Wednesday, and Wednesday is our phrasal verb day. So let's explain some phrasal verbs. The first one is put up with, and the meaning, tolerate. As there is some road construction in front of my house, I have to put up with the noise of it. That's our first example. And our second example, it's difficult to put up with her. She'll always find a way to annoy you and make you angry. A little bit of explanation. Now, the first one is actually a real example. Then there is some construction going on in front of my house, so it's a bit noisy and I really have to put up with it. All right. And, well, there's nothing to explain in the second one. So we'll move on to the second phrasal verb of Wednesday, which is run into. And the meaning, to meet somebody, usually somebody, by chance. Two examples. First one, I ran into my friend from high school the other day. I had not seen him for many years, and it was a total surprise meeting him. Second one, I never thought in 100 years that I would run into you, since I thought that you had moved to Canada for good. Okay, some explanation is needed. The first one I'd like to explain a little bit. I said a total surprise meeting him. Now, please pay attention. After the word surprise, I have used verb ing. It's a total surprise. To meet him is possible, but meeting him is also possible. The other day means like 2 days ago, or it could even be 3 days ago. All right. In the second example, of course, I'm not 100 years old, but to express a very long time period, I have chosen the word in 100 years. In 100 years. So it means like a very, very, very long time. Again, I cannot stress this enough. I have used the word since, which means because, and also something that I have shared in the past, the word for good, it means forever. So, or it could also mean like for a very, very long time again. Okay? So instead of saying forever, you can say for good. Great. That brings us to Thursday. And Thursday is my favorite day of all, but Sunday is a close second. Why is Thursday my favorite? Because Thursdays I explain collocations, and I love collocations. Today's collocation is all about brain, and we have 4 of them. The first one, pick one's brain. It means to ask someone who knows best or is the expert. So that is basically the meaning. To ask questions to somebody who has a very good opinion or who has studied this area, who has a lot of experience in this area, or basically who is an expert. Examples. May I pick your brain about this math question? I have heard that you are good at math. Second one, they told me that you are the expert on flowers. May I pick your brain about my roses? So we have two very clear examples which explain the meaning of pick one's brain. So it's not about picking, like taking something from the ground or like annoying somebody. He's picking on me. No, it's more like asking questions. Second collocation with brain, rack your brain. Rack your brain. And it means to try hard to remember something. Like, what is this? What is it? What's the meaning of it? Two examples. First one, at the florist. A, I'm racking my brain but just can't remember the name of this flower. B, oh, they're tulips. Second example, there is no point racking your brain about this vocabulary. We can just ask Oliver teacher for the meaning. All right. Florist, of course, is the place where you buy flowers for the first example. And tulips. What are tulips? Well, I think my Turkish listeners will know about this. There is even a tulip festival going on in Istanbul. But people from Holland, they will also know this flower because it's very popular in Holland. In the second one, this is what happens all the time. Students don't consult dictionaries. They sometimes grow lazy and they don't rack their brains and they just ask Oliver teacher for the meaning and explanation of some vocabulary. Our third collocation with brain, be the brains behind something. And it means to be the real responsible person for a plan, action, organization, etc. Examples. Although Jesse looked like the brains behind the project, it was actually Diane who provided more than half the ideas. Second one. The police caught some unimportant members of the gang, but are still looking for the brains behind the gang. In the first one, it's actually Diane who gave most of the ideas, so she is the one who produced more. I'd like to explain something about the second one. Brains behind the gang is probably the gang leader. The gang leader is the brains behind everything in this gang. Moving on to our last collocation of Thursday with brain, be the brainchild of. And the meaning of be the brainchild of is to be the original idea or project of somebody. Examples. The first one, the bridge connecting the two cities was the brainchild of Mayor Timmons. And our second example, the archery club at our school is actually the brainchild of one of our parents. So the parent is the brains behind the archery club, or Mayor Timmons is the brains behind the bridge connecting the two cities. So this one is actually a bit related to the third one. What is a mayor? Mayor is usually the top person, the top elected person in the city. And in the second example, archery club. In the archery club, people learn, or students learn how to shoot arrows using a bow. So it's a sports, it's a very ancient sports where you use a bow and an arrow, archery. Okay, having finally arrived at Friday, we can now go to some funnier expressions, like the one I have here, which is look like a drowned rat. What is the meaning of it? To be very, very wet. Usually after walking in the rain, people look like a drowned rat. I only have one example here today, and the example goes like this. Girl, where's your umbrella? You look like a drowned rat after walking 10 minutes in this heavy rain. So, what about this rat? What is a rat? Rats are usually very ugly and they are bigger than mice, and they love living in cities and annoy people, and they scare a lot of people actually. Saturday, first day of the weekend. Let's see what we have for this Saturday. We have a proverb, and the proverb for this Saturday is, all that glitters is not gold. All that glitters is not gold. Glitter, it means to shine. Not to give out light, maybe, because it doesn't produce light, but to reflect the light. So it glitters. Let's take a look at the meaning of all that glitters is not gold. Many things that look attractive and valuable actually have no value at all. That's the meaning of it. So it looks very shiny and looks expensive, but in fact it's not. Two examples. First one, be careful, Carla. Just because Jason is handsome does not mean that he's a good person. Remember that all that glitters is not gold. Second example, many young people think that becoming a YouTuber is great, but all that glitters is not gold, and many fail at it badly. In the first example, well, from the outside, people sometimes look very handsome, very attractive, very beautiful, but their personality may be flawed. Their personality may not be so good. So all that glitters, and the glitter is their being handsome, is not gold. And gold is like to have a very, very good character. It's not always gold that glitters. For the second one, YouTubers. There are many very successful YouTubers out there, but a lot of unsuccessful YouTubers as well. So to become a YouTuber is not that easy. From the outside, to be a YouTuber looks like, oh, it's just great. But me, myself, I spend a lot of time on this, and I'm not sure if it's going to be good. I hope with your support. And welcome to Sunday, everyone. And our word for Sunday is, careful with the pronunciation, and I have checked many dictionaries, 6 in fact. I have checked 6 dictionaries and 3 YouTubers, and they were all very, very different. But I have tried to get you the correctest, if you want, my version of this word. All right, here it goes. The British one was alma mater, whereas the American was more like alma mater. Alma mater. So that's the pronunciation I got from all of them and the ones I have heard in the past. Great. Now, what about the meaning? It's the university or school, sometimes also the school, but mostly university, a person has graduated from. Okay, examples. First one, Oliver teacher says the Middle East Technical University is my alma mater. And the second example, after years of studying and doing research abroad, he returned to his alma mater to teach as a professor. All right, now let's explain this a little bit. Yes, I graduated in Turkey from a university in Ankara, which is the Middle East Technical University. And the Middle East Technical University is my alma mater. And in the second example, this person has studied in other countries and has done research for a long time, and then after many years returned to his alma mater to teach as a professor. Great. Last one, everybody. Our last word is anonymous. Anonymous. And this is a Latin word, and it means with a hidden identity, not known who the person is. Anonymous. And this word, actually, I didn't write it down, but it's very often followed by the word tip, an anonymous tip. Okay, let's take a look at the examples. The person that identified the mafia boss needed to stay anonymous so that he was not harmed by other members of the mafia. Second one, the police have received an anonymous tip which helped them apprehend the bank robbers. Small explanation. In the first example, I'd like to explain the word harmed, which means to do something bad to a person, to injure maybe, or even to kill. And in the second one, we have the word info crossed out. Instead, we have the word tip, and we have the word catch crossed out, which is replaced by apprehend. I hope you have enjoyed my mini lesson on my weekly vocabulary. I will post new vocabulary on my Instagram page at Oliver Teacher every day and record them after the week is over and share them here on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. See you next week. Bye.